Hi everyone and Happy New Year. I believe it will be the 1st or the 2nd of January when I post this. I thought I would do a little New Year's episode because obviously I've been doing the self-love mini series, but I can't not do a New Year's episode, so we're putting a little break on that right now. I will do another part at some point. But anyway, Happy New Year. I hope you had a good New Year's Eve, whatever you did. I've made no notes. This is probably going to be the most casual episode I've ever done. Please don't look at my nails. I'm missing, like, every other nail is missing and it's looking really ugly, so don't look at that. But yeah, I just thought I'd have a little chat, a little catch up about the new year, my thoughts, my intentions on the new year, thoughts from the previous year. I obviously haven't had New Year's yet because it's currently Thursday and New Year's Eve is in a few days. I don't know when. But I was really conflicted about New Year's Eve, whether to go out and like see friends and do the whole New Year's Eve thing, or to stay in and kind of set my intentions for the new year, because that's what I did last year. I stayed in and I think I went through my journals from the previous year, the year that was just ending. I think I flicked through, had a little read, reminded myself of what the fuck had happened that year, because it's easy to forget. And like, I do remember last year being like, oh my god, it's insane how much has happened, and I feel like I'm gonna have the same situation happen again. But yeah, I think I looked through my journals. This is a great thing to do, by the way, if you're not really a big drinker, you don't really want to go out on New Year's Eve, as much as that is a thing people celebrate and, you know, they have parties and whatever for. It's also, a lot of people don't do that, and I did feel a little bit, I don't want to say pressure, but just kind of like, you know, I do feel like there is kind of a pressure when there's like a social norm, you know, Valentine's Day, New Year's Day, whatever the fuck, like people do certain things, and I feel like New Year's Eve is one of those things that a lot of people go out. But I do also think it's really normal to use it as a time to kind of reflect. There's nothing wrong with not going out drinking. Like, that's also not really the way I want to start a new year, you know. Then I'm just going to be starting January 1st tired, drained, possibly hungover, and like, that's just not what I fucking want to feel like on January 1st. Like, I would so much rather wake up and feel like ready to start the new year. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've sorted out what I want, my intentions, my goals, my thoughts on it, what I want more of, what I want less of, blah blah blah. And then I wake up and it's like a fresh start and I'm like ready to go. Like, one thing about me is any excuse for like a fresh start, I fucking love it. Like, I love something that feels like a new chapter. There's something so exciting about that to me, and that's why I think I love doing like detoxes and stuff sometimes. Because I don't know, like, say it's a new month tomorrow, like, and you're in any month of the year, I love being like, okay, starting tomorrow, the entire month I'm gonna do this, and like, I wake up feeling like so motivated. I don't know, because there is something so motivating and like exciting about feeling like you've got a goal. I don't know, I guess it's different for everyone, but for me, that's like, if I ever feel like I'm kind of like veering off track a little bit, or I'm a bit distracted or something, I will quite often be like, right, detox time, because it's like such a way to just like snap into like discipline mode almost, because you're like, well, I've got a goal now, I've got a detox, and like, I can't not. Do you know what I mean? For example, if I was like, I'm gonna sleep at 10 for the next month and like see how different I feel, because obviously like sleeping early is very good for you, but it's hard for some reason. You know, I think once I set like a tangible goal, I get really fucking like into it. It is a good technique if you feel like you can't stay motivated with things. Like, I know that's an issue a lot of people have. I guess we all probably have at points. A detox is a really great way to do it, and there is just nothing quite like lying in bed. This is like what I'll do. I'll lie in bed, and it's usually if I've spent like an hour on Pinterest, because I literally fucking love Pinterest. Like, it's a social media without the social part, which is great. It leaves me feeling so excited about my life, so motivated, so many good ideas. And it's like, you see nothing bad on Pinterest. Nothing. I guess the only issue is like comparison, I would say, is an issue, because there's a lot of photos where you're like, fuck, my hair doesn't look like that. But it's like, you know, it's like fake as fuck. I don't know, I don't really I take it with a grain of salt, because I'm like, I could probably take that photo too if I tried that hard. But Pinterest and like making Pinterest boards, I guess it's like a vision board, like, I love that shit. Curating like a vibe is such like a shit way of wording it, but like curating like a vibe for the next month or the next year or something is, I don't know, I think envisioning it and seeing it on a board, like photos of it, is something that really works for me. And writing, I'll like write it all down. I don't know, I love that shit. And I'm just someone who's very, like, I really want to be living in a way that's like to the absolute best that I can, like the most optimal version of myself. And I just feel like there's so much to do in life and so many things to try. And I'm like, I want to like dip my toe in everything. Like if I see, oh my god, I have hair all over me. If I see like someone doing a cute little painting evening or something, I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing that tomorrow. Like I really try and fill my days with a good mix of things. I try and keep a balance. Obviously I have to work. That obviously takes over a massive chunk of my life. I don't really have an option about that, unfortunately. But like with my free time, podcast is a hobby. It's fulfilling. It's like a mind stimulating hobby, do you know what I mean? Whereas sometimes I'm like, okay, I need relaxing hobbies too. I also want to paint or bake or I don't know, whatever. But then it's also like fitting in stuff where it's like movement oriented, because that's also very important, like walks and hikes and the gym and swimming and yoga. And like when, because I plan my weeks like in advance, when I plan it out, I try and make sure I'm implementing like a little bit of everything. Obviously sometimes like I can't because I'm like way too busy to like go on a fucking hike in the middle of the week, do you know what I mean? But I always try and make sure I've got a little bit of everything because it keeps me sane. And I think one thing that I noticed fairly recently, because I've been obscenely busy, I really had to like prioritize work because I'm saving for things, and I had to make that kind of like the top priority and kind of skip out on a couple of things that make me feel really good and are important to me, but like only for a short period of time. I can't prioritize those things right now because like I fucking need money. And I noticed like instantly that I felt worse because I think I'm so used to like the balance that I've made in my life that when I kind of throw it off, I just feel fucking weird. Like I feel all lost when I'm like, oh my god, I didn't go to yoga this week, and like I can tell, like I feel different. And like I don't know, I just feel like that is something I've learned this year, is finding a schedule and like a, oh my god, the wind is so fucking loud. I pray you can't hear that. Finding a schedule and kind of like a balance that works for you when it comes to your work life balance, your social and physical, your alone time, your hobbies, your whatever. Just finding like how much of each section works for you and kind of sticking to it. That's why I kind of plan ahead, because I like to be organized, but also if I don't do that, I'm probably not going to be balancing shit out because I'll be relying on what I want to do in the moment, and I don't like to do that. Like I like to have things kind of laid out. But I think that is one thing that this year I've like the me that walked into 2023 and the me that's walking out of it has really honed in on what my balance is and what works for me. And I've gotten so much clearer on like just what works for me in general and like how I need to be living in order to be happy. Like I think naturally when you learn more and more what works for you, you also give less and less of a fuck about what other people think. And if like, I don't know, I just really like have never cared less about what people think about how I'm living my life. I feel like the main thing, I was thinking about this earlier, I sat in my conservatory drinking my coffee thinking what to talk about today, and I thought, to be honest, I think the main difference between me at the start of the year and me leaving the year is how confident I am as a whole. And I don't just mean like, oh, I'm not shy. Like I don't think I say I'm a shy person at all, to be honest. But I just more mean like, confident is the word I would use like as the umbrella term, but like confidence in myself, confidence in my ability, confidence in, I don't know, I feel like I've just really shown myself this year that like I am all I need. And I know that may sound cringe as fuck, but in the way that like when I walked into this year, I think I was very nervous, very cautious to make choices or do things if it meant that things could change or people could leave my life or it could upset someone or whatever. Like, I didn't feel like having myself was enough in a way. Like, I did and I didn't. I think I knew deep down. I think I knew that deep down. I don't know. I think there was just a general like underlying sense of like, I need to be careful because, and like I need to tread lightly because I don't even fucking know why. Just like, I just don't think I felt confident in the fact that I had what I needed in myself. I always felt like other people maybe gave me things that like I needed, and if I upset them and they left, I wouldn't be okay. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I just think I was very like scared of outcomes all the time. I always played it safe. Like when it came to making any choice, I always made the choice that would mean the most minimal change would come from it, which is not a fun life. And I think now I take a lot more risks in life because I think I'm aware now that like as long as I have me, which I always will, you know, then I'm okay. And like obviously you rely on other people in ways, like we need other people in ways, sure, but I think you're a lot more comfortable and confident, like I said, taking risks and making choices that are a little bit more out of your comfort zone when you're aware that like as long as you've got yourself, you'll work it out. And I think I've become, since making a few choices in this year that have really proven that to myself, where I've been like, fuck, that was scary, but like I've come out the other side because I did that. Like, I don't know, it's just put me in a place now where I'm like, what couldn't I do? And there is a comfort in that, and I just feel like a lot more of a confident person, confident in myself, confident in how I want to live my life, confident in like the vision that I have for myself. My god, sorry if my camera angle keeps moving. Obviously someone had parked behind me, so I moved it because I thought like I'm not gonna record this if someone's parked behind me, but then they got out the car and left, so I carried on. Now they've gone. Not that you cared. But yeah, I would say that's the main takeaway from 2023, is it has taught me so much confidence, or I have taught me so much confidence in myself. I don't know, I don't feel so fucking fragile and scared and like nervous just about fucking everything. Like I feel like now I'm a lot more comfortable being like, that's scary, that makes me anxious, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because like I have a bigger vision for myself and what I want. Whereas before I was so kind of unsure and questioning myself, and now I'm like, I don't know. I saw a quote the other day, and also my mum always said it to me this year. She said it to me like fucking loads this year. Sorry, mum. And that is something along the lines of, do I ever know any quote? When I say I have a quote, do I ever have the quote? No. Like inaction is worse than, like basically doing nothing is worse than just fucking trying. Like she would always say that to me. I'd be like, oh my god, do I do this or this about like everything? Like I am so sorry to my mum because like fuck. And she would always be like just fucking pick one. Like it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like you'll learn something and life moves on. Like it's not that deep. Obviously it depends what you're talking about, but with the stuff I was worried about, it's not that fucking deep. But yeah, I don't know, overall walking out a much more confident person, a lot less of a shaky, nervous little wreck. And I was thinking like, what were my kind of intentions for 2023? And I think one of them was to rest more and get better at relaxing. I remember writing that in my journal because I remember how uncomfortable it was for me to like rest in the daytime. I'm like, I feel like I always need to be on the go, and like I can't fucking switch off even when I try. And my kind of goal was like to kind of use this year, not this year, like the whole year, to rest, but to like learn how to actually fucking rest. And do I think I've done that? Yes and no. I think that's still something I really struggle with, and I think maybe that's fine. Maybe that's just something that will take me a bit longer, you know. Maybe that's not one that you can fix in a year. And also so many other things I was working on. It's not like that's the only thing on my mind. Then maybe I would have fucking sorted it out, but I'm always working on like a variety of issues at once, so that makes things harder. But I do think I'm better at it, for sure. I'm definitely better than I was, and that's all that I ask. And the other thing that that I wanted to get good at, which this is kind of like a niche issue, but leaving social interactions when I want to leave, like when I'm done and when I want to go home or I have something else to do, learning how to like at that point fucking go. Because I've talked about this before, probably would sit there for like ages beyond the point I wanted to be there, because I was like too uncomfortable to say like I'm gonna go home. Like I would just like fucking sit there and torture myself because I was being a little bitch. And that is something that I remember writing down, being like, if I leave this year with the ability to be like, you know what guys, I'm gonna head off, then I've like succeeded. And again, like, have I fixed that? I would say it's the same answer applies. I'm a lot more comfortable doing it now than I ever have been. But do I stay longer than I want to almost every time I meet my friends? Probably. But that's one that like, it's just constantly a work in progress. And honestly, I don't fucking socialize enough to like really practice that one a lot. like I just feel like right now it's just, socializing isn't really a priority to me a lot of the time. Like if ever, like I was saying, you find your balance with like the different sections. If ever something is gonna give, it's always my social life. That's always the first one that I'm like, that can go, I don't really fucking care. Like it's just like, I don't know, the thing is like, I do love seeing friends one-on-one. I would say I'm more of a one-on-one person, definitely. Like I love a good conversation, and like groups are fucking exhausting to me. And like I do really look forward to it, but it's just like one of the last things I feel like I think about when I'm organizing my time. Like you know, if it was like I can either see friends that night or I can record my podcast, this would come first, because I'm very like regimented about this, and this is very important to me, and I would feel worse if I wasn't doing this. Whereas like not seeing friends for a week, I can deal with it. Like I socialize enough in my day-to-day life at like work and with my family and things that it's like I can survive, you know. That being said, I do love getting dressed up and going out for dinner with friends or going out for coffee. Like I do love it. I do. I just rarely do it, but then it makes it special when I do it. I don't know. That's another thing. While we're reflecting, that's another thing. Friends, like that's changed a lot this year. I've gotten picky as fuck with people in my life. Oh my god, I've never had less people in my life, and in the best way possible. I have simplified my life down so much this year. Like last year, I think one of my main issues was that I always felt like I had too much on my plate. Like I was constantly fucking stressed. What was wrong with me last year? Fuck. And this year, I do not feel like that very often. I don't know, I just feel like unless I really want to do something, like genuinely like I want to do it, I just haven't been like I spent last year doing a lot of unnecessary shit because I felt like I had to. And I feel like this has been the year of really fucking like honing in on what do I actually want to do, simplifying it down to that, and just doing that. And that's why I feel so much kind of calmer and more in control of my life, because I am more in control of my life. Like I'm a lot more firm with what I do and don't want to do. And again, that comes down to like confidence, you know? But I do feel like I am walking out of this year quite a different person, to be honest with you. And I feel like I could probably say that every year, because I change a lot, I think. I don't know, I change a lot while also not changing at all. Like I am such a routined person that half of what I do is like the fucking exact same thing I do every single day. So I don't really change that much, but I do at the same time. Oh my god, did I start this podcast this year? Oh my god, I think I did. That was a big change. I must have. I started my podcast. Just so many things happened this year. This was I feel like this was a very pivotal year. Like when I look back, when I'm older, I think I'm gonna be like 2023 was a big one. But like honestly, watch me say that every other year. But I honestly am really excited for my New Year's Eve in. I'm really excited to sit down and like, this is just like the kind of shit that like, oh my god, I fucking love it. Like to sit down and have an evening of just planning, organizing and setting intentions and goals and Pinterest boards. Like that kind of thing is actually porn to me. So I'm really excited. And I'm excited to do more of the things that I love and to find new hobbies and maybe meet new people and go to new places. In January, I am going to Arizona for 2 weeks to visit a friend. I don't know what I'll do about the podcast with that. I may have to skip 1 to 2 episodes, probably one. I could probably pre-record one. Don't have the storage to pre-record 2. I might have to miss one, but yeah, in the new year, mid-January, I'm going away for 2 weeks, going to America on a little excursion, and I'm very excited about that. I think that's a good way to start the year. A new adventure, new memories. Yeah, I think I'll do a bit more solo traveling next year, because I love nothing more than solo traveling. Like, fuck. I actually think in February I'm gonna take myself to like a little Airbnb somewhere. Just like, I honestly, what I want to do is go and stay in like a fucking cabin in the woods and bring like books and food to cook and like a bottle of wine and just like stay there for like a week by myself like that. Like the things I would think about, you know? I feel like that would be so interesting to do. And like, oh my god, no Wi-Fi for a week, and just like having to entertain myself and like go on walks. I don't know, I probably won't do that for a week, but maybe like 3 days. Yeah, I don't know, I just thought this episode would be interesting because it's kind of like journaling. Half the reason I like journaling is because I can look back at like what I was doing this time last year. But this is kind of going to have the same effect. Like this time next year, what will I be talking about? What will I look like? What will I talk about? What will I have done? How different will I be? I wonder if I'll have a different hair colour. It's random, but I don't know. Sometimes I do think about dyeing my hair back to brown, but I don't think I want to do that, like, just yet. I think I will at some point, but I've spent so much money on dyeing my hair blonde that I think it's just like I really want to get my money's worth before I ever change it, because I'm stingy. But I hope everyone has a really nice New Year's Eve doing whatever you do. If you do go out, have a great time. If you stay in, I'm staying in too. I was about to say I'm right there with you, but I'm not with you, but you know what I mean. Setting intentions though is very important, and I do recommend, even if you want to go out New Year's Eve, go for it. But I would still recommend setting some intentions, doing some reflections. You know, what do you want to do less of that you did in 2023? What do you want more of? What do you want to change? You know, do like an overall year review in your head. You can write it down, you could journal it, you could podcast it, you could do whatever the fuck you want. But I do think it is important, because I personally can't imagine not checking in. Like, I obviously check in a lot more regularly than once a year on like what I want to change, because otherwise it's so easy for like your life to go in a direction that maybe you don't want it to go in, because you're not regularly like stopping and checking what's going on and then rerouting, because we do have to reroute. Do you know what I mean? Quite often you're like, okay, I've been doing that too much, like cutting that off. And if we weren't checking in and like zooming out and looking at our lives fairly regularly, it's just, to me, I can only see that going wrong. I can only see that your life just kind of being a fucking shamble. But that's my opinion. But yeah, whatever you choose to do, I hope you set some intentions. I hope you do a little bit of reflecting. It's very important. Thank you for anyone who has watched these podcasts, because like I said, I think I started this year. I must have. Thank you for watching. This has been, sounds like I'm like ending my podcast forever, but like this podcast has been so fun and so interesting, and like I can't imagine not having this as a hobby now. So it's kind of mad to think that it's still fairly new, like 9 months I reckon I've been doing this. I have no idea. I've done a lot of episodes, so thank you for anyone who has been watching these and listening to these. I very much appreciate it, and I'm excited to make more in the new year. And yeah, I am gonna go walk my dog on the beach in this fucking weather and probably blow away and never return. So thank you for watching. Have a great new year. I will talk to you next year. Oh my god, bye.